and Mildred Lampier are suing Mildred's ex-boyfriend, car repossessor Terry Chance, and his wife Irene for an unpaid loan. The Chances are countersuing for slander and defamation of character.
Quiet in the courtroom. All rise. Yes, case number 28 on the calendar in the matter of Lampier versus Chance. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat.
Oh, I need a scorecard to go over this case, at least to try to explain it to Bird, who I know is going to pay very, very careful attention to the players. Mr. Lampier, it is your claim, along with your wife, this is your wife, that you made a loan to Mr. Chance. I don't know about his wife, but certainly to Mr. Chance in the amount of $2,000. Mr. Chance says that this was not a loan, but a gift. And he is counterclaiming because he says that because he had a relationship with your wife, she decided to be vindictive and call his wife and his children and saying all kinds of nasty things about him. So he's counterclaiming for defamation of his otherwise pure character and slander. Right?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay. So what I gather is the two of you were not married.
Right.
Mr. Chance was separated from his wife.
That is correct, Your Honor.
What's your first name?
Mildred.
Mildred and
Terry.
Terry sort of got together.
Yes.
For a brief period of time.
Yes.
Before you and
George
got married. At some point, you needed money for a car.
Basically, yes.
And George gave you the money for the car.
No. The money did come from George. Millie is the one that got the money from George.
You had no contact with George.
Yes, at the time when when I received the money, it did come from George, yes. Millie had set it up.
I don't care who set it up.
That's what I'm trying to explain.
You got the $2,000 from George.
Yes.
And you say George gave you that money as a gift.
Yes.
Okay, George. Tell me how that money came about.
Okay. Mildred and Terry come out the house. Mentioned that he needed some money to buy a car because their car was broke down. And she backed out of the whole picture.
Who backed out?
Mildred.
What do you mean she backed out?
She said it's up to you if you want to loan him the money.
Okay. How did you know, Terry?
That's not true.
Terry.
Yes, ma'am.
You'll have a chance.
Okay.
He was a co-worker with my wife now.
When were you married, by the way?
February 28th.
Now, what discussion, Mr. Lampier, did you have with Terry regarding this $2,000?
He was cashing in his 401k, plus his income tax return was coming back, and he wanted to borrow it for 2 weeks, 3 at the most.
And that's what he told you?
Right.
He told you that, not Mildred. He told you that. And where did you get the money from?
Out of my checking account.
And you remember the date when you gave it to him?
Yeah, March 1st.
When did you first ask him for the money back?
Oh, it was probably 4 weeks into it. 3 weeks.
Did you ask him or did Mildred?
Neither one of us really asked him.
Well, what happened?
He had informed Dee up at the bar one night.
This lady in the green?
Ladies.
Step up. Just a second. Tell me your name.
Doreen Degg.
Miss Degg, you work together with these people?
No, I frequent the bar where they were employees.
And did there come a time when you had a conversation about this $2,000?
Yes, he came up to the table I was sitting at on a Friday night and asked me if George and Millie were coming into the bar that night. And he told me that if I should see them or talk to him, to tell George he had something for him.
Did you see them that day?
No, I did not. I called her the next morning and informed her what he had told me the night before.
Okay. Do you remember that conversation?
I remember speaking to her. It was about getting the message to George that I wanted to talk to him.
That you wanted to talk to him,
yes.
Not that she says you said you had something for him.
I didn't say I had anything for him.
Okay, but that you wanted to speak to George.
Yes.
Well, what did you want to speak to George about?
I wanted to speak to George.
Look at me. Don't look over there.
I wanted to speak to George about the lawsuit papers that my wife had received.
The lawsuit papers?
The small claims papers.
Oh, so they had already sued you for this $2,000.
Right, and what my main question was is why they were going after my wife.
Okay. So you hadn't had any prior discussion prior to being served with the papers with George about anything?
None whatsoever.
Okay, so you were surprised.
Very.
Why were you surprised, sir?
Because we had, I was seeing Millie,
Look
and
over
I was
here.
seeing Millie in a relationship.
No, you're looking up at the ceiling.
I
want you to take your eyes and fix them on mine.
Stress. Sorry, Your Honor.
No, that's not.
I had eye contact.
That's
all righty. I had a relationship with Millie prior to her marriage. She was engaged, supposed to be breaking off the engagement. Things started to get a little out of hand.
Why did you want to talk to George, sir? Why did you tell Miss Daig that you wanted to speak to George?
Because I wanted to know why they were suing me and my wife when nothing was said about that money, about repaying it, about owing it, nothing.
Why would George give you $2,000?
Because Millie's the one that got it out of him.
Well, sir, is that what you wanted to tell George?
I eventually did tell George that.
When did you tell George that, sir?
My main reason for wanting to talk to George was why they were suing my wife. Because my wife had nothing to do with it whatsoever. My wife don't even know these people. Mm-hmm. And she has been put through hell and high water and back because of all this.
So you mean they should have sued you?
Yeah, I was the party involved.
Well, that might be a legitimate question.
And I had said to George when I did see him the next day, I said to him,
So the next day you saw George?
I believe it was.
Good. Tell me about the conversation that you had with him the next day. Tell me what he said to you and what you said to him.
I'll tell you exactly what was said. I said, why are you trying to sue my wife and sue me? He goes, I have nothing to do with it. That's on Millie. Is his exact words.
And you said?
I left.
Didn't say anything else, did you?
I said I left. I went to my attorney.
When did you have the next conversation with him?
I don't believe there was any after that.
Well, according to you, that's a lie, sir. According to your answer, that's not true.
According
to your answer, you had another conversation with him that you haven't told me about.
Okay. Can you refresh my memory?
Shouldn't have to, but I will. I decided that George should know who the woman he married really was. I went to their house and told them about the affair, which he said he had an idea something was going on with us. I also told him about Millie's plan to divorce him. When I did that, Millie started yelling and punching me. Mm-hmm. That was something I would remember.
That was prior, Your Honor. That was prior to that conversation about the lawsuit.
Just a second. What I said to you before was, when was the first time there was any discussion about the repayment of this money? And you said there wasn't. Clearly, that's not true. Clearly, before you got served with a summons, there was a discussion about repaying the money. Because that's when you supposedly, according to you, went to their house. What are you looking at me? Am I speaking a foreign language? Do you speak English?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. George and Mildred Lampier claim Mildred's ex-boyfriend, Terry Chance, and his wife, Irene, owe for an unpaid loan. Terry says his wife has nothing to do with the money.
By the way, I don't really believe you're involved as a defendant in this case, because whatever arrangement was made with your husband.
Yes.
It was a loan! There is absolutely no reason for these people to have given you $2,000. You don't look as if you're that good, sir. Trust me.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
No, listen to me. I listened to you, and you have been unpersuasive in convincing me that these two people made you and the wife that they never met a loan for $2,000 to buy a car. You have been unpersuasive to me. You give your children, maybe, but a stranger, somebody that he knows because his wife-to-be knows you from work, even if she's having a fling with you, it's not a reason to give you $2,000. As I said, you don't look like you're that good. So you owe him $2,000. Now you've got a $4,000 counterclaim. And the $4,000 counterclaim is punitive damages due to slander and defamation. I'm prepared to hear your counterclaim.
Okay. First one being harassment.
No, listen to me. You're supposed to be able to remember what you're suing him for $4,000.
Okay, first one was for harassment, harassing my wife at work, continuous phone calls to my wife at work.
Just a minute. Just a second. Who called you at work?
Mildred.
Mildred. And what did she call to say to you?
She kept repeatedly telling me that she was having an affair with my husband, which we were separated.
And was that very distressing to you?
Yes.
Do you think that was as distressing to you as your husband telling her fiancé and her husband that she was no good and she was having an affair with him?
I'm sure it was.
Right. It's the way it goes.
But
When
this
you
had
fool
nothing to do
around,
with me.
when you fool around, you have to accept the consequences. Put your hand down. What's next?
Second thing is when she said to my 12-year-old son when we had stopped at the house when I had the money in my pocket.
What money?
The money, the $2,000.
What do you mean you had it in your pocket?
No.
Shh, I don't.
I'm sorry.
What do you mean you had it in your pocket?
Millie was with me. We had stopped by because the money was in the form of a check, and I had pulled it out of my pocket because I gave my son some money. Okay, my son had asked me where I had gotten the money, and Millie spoke up, oh, it's your dad's early birthday present, and had made comments that your mom's a worthless and don't know how to take care of you. That's when we were out the door.
Just 1 second. Who was out the door?
Me, Millie, and me. I took her out of the house.
So the two of you left together?
Yes.
Did you give her back the money?
What's that?
What word didn't you understand?
I didn't
She
hear-
had just insulted you and your wife because you were dumb enough to bring her to your home or where your son was in order to give him money that you had just gotten from them. Did you give the money back?
No. If somebody handed you $2,000, said happy birthday, would you give it back?
Your counterclaim is dismissed, Mr. Chance. I would suggest you grow up. How long have you been married?
4 years. We've
4
been
years.
together for 12.
He hasn't gotten any better.
Some of it.
Some of it. Not enough. Not enough. If you hitch your wagon to a falling star, eventually you're going to get caught in the mud. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Your counterclaim's dismissed. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,000. Get him out of here. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Revenge has just begun. Revenge has just begun.
Stayed in the hotel a couple of nights. The night before I got married.
Oh, yeah. Before, during, even on our wedding night.
We didn't sleep together because he couldn't perform.
It's far from done and over with.
He told me paybacks are hell.
18-year-old laborer Sherry Powell is suing her former friend, 17-year-old Lise Chouinard, and her mother Paulette for lost wages and pain and suffering due to an assault. Lise claims Sherry slept with her friend's boyfriend.
Yes, case number 315 on the calendar in the matter of Powell versus Chouinard. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
What's your name?
Rianne Curry.
Rianne.
Yes.
You already pled guilty in this assault, is that right?
Yes.
Did you think you were coming to a dance today or something?
No.
Miss Powell, according to your complaint, this young lady assaulted you. And according to your complaint, she pled guilty to the assault, which she clearly says she did. But you said you claim that she was assisted in that assault by this young lady.
That's correct.
Who held you down, held your hair, and you, while she assaulted you.
That's right.
What's your first name?
Lise.
What?
Lise.
Why did your friend assault her?
It was over an ex-boyfriend.
What's the ex-boyfriend's name?
Greg.
How long ago was Rianne with Greg?
About a year ago.
Was Miss Powell ever with Greg?
I don't think she was. I think she just had slept with him.
Is that what she was annoyed at?
Yeah.
So Rianne was angry because she thought, right or wrong, that Miss Powell had been involved with her ex-boyfriend.
Well, her ex-boyfriend had told her that he had slept with her.
During the time that they were still together?
Yes.
Could you do me, you're her mother?
I sure am.
Good. Why don't you sit down? Because you're just here because you have the deep pockets. Step up here, Rianne. Now, when Greg told you about this assignation, did you beat him up?
No.
Did you punch him in the face?
No.
Did you kick him in the groin?
No.
Why not? Did you think that Miss Powell held him down?
No.
So why did you get angry with her?
Because we were acquaintances at the time, and...
So you think that because you were an acquaintance of Miss Powell, she owed you more loyalty than the boyfriend that you had with whom you were sleeping?
No, but...
I'm just trying to get the rationale. You got a boyfriend with whom you are intimate. And how long had Greg been your boyfriend?
A few months.
And you are crazy about him, right?
Not totally.
Well, I assume that if you were intimate with him, that you had some feelings for him. Is that right?
Yes.
And your boyfriend, with whom you have been intimate, says to you, when you weren't around, I slept with Miss Powell. And you start to cry, right? You got upset?
A little bit.
Did you yell at him?
Yes.
What did you say?
Many things. It was a year ago.
When did you assault Miss Powell?
October of last year.
And when did your boyfriend tell you that he had been intimate with Miss Powell?
September of last year.
Now, between September and October, had you seen Miss Powell?
Not really, no.
So the first time you saw her is when the assault took place, is that right?
Yes.
And where was that?
At Pool Hall.
And Lise was with you?
She wasn't there in the beginning, but she came around, yeah.
And she's a friend of yours?
Yes.
Had you told her about Greg's confession?
Yes.
See how it all fits in? You want to know why? Because it's common sense. That's why it all fits in. Tell me what happened when you saw her.
I had seen her and...
Now look at me. Don't look at the floor. Don't look at the water. Look at me.
I had seen her in the pool hall with him, and I got...
With Greg?
Yes.
Oh, she was with Greg in October. Is that right, Miss Powell?
We were friends, and at the time, she was dating his brother, who's Matt.
Okay. But you were with Greg, and you were no longer with Greg.
No.
So you saw her, and she was with Greg. And what did you say to her?
At first, I didn't say anything to her, and then when she had come outside, I had confronted her.
What did you say to her?
I asked her what the problem was, and that's when...
Well, I didn't hear about any problem. What do you mean, what the
She
problem
disrespected me, that's the
How did
problem.
she disrespect you?
By sleeping with my boyfriend.
Disrespected you?
Yes.
Your boyfriend disrespected you?
Yeah, that too.
Okay. And what did she say to you?
She said, what are you talking about? And I basically said, you know, well, what I'm talking about. And that's when a fight broke out.
No, that's just words that I hear so far. Mm-hmm. After you said, I don't know what you're talking about, what happened, Miss Powell?
On that note, I did not say anything before it happened. There were no words said besides some name-calling from her to me before she hit me.
Where did she hit you?
In the face.
With what?
With her fists.
And where was Lise at the time?
Lise was standing behind her, maybe about 5 feet behind her.
No. Anybody else with them?
Greg was walking with me outside, and Matt was outside, who at the time
Matt was
Rianne's boyfriend.
And then what happened?
She started hitting me, and she's saying, come on, Sherry, hit me, hit me. And at the time it happened so fast that I barely knew who it was. I had no idea what she was doing or why she was doing it. And she went savage.
Okay, she's already acknowledged to the police and to the courts that she assaulted you. What I want to know is what Lisa's participation was, if any.
There were some words said.
By whom?
I said, what the Rianne? Like, I was totally confused. She said, what the Sherry? And then she was hitting me and scratching me and pulling me by my hair. I had turned her around because before I was up against a concrete wall, and she was pulling my hair and hitting me, hitting my head off the wall. So I turned her around to get away from the wall. And as I turned her around, I took control of her. And then Lise came in because she knew that I had some control. And she started pulling my hair.
From behind?
Yes.
And then what happened?
And then Greg said, she's Matt's brother, Rianne's ex-boyfriend, said, you have nothing to do with this, Lise, get away. And from what I understood, Greg had taken her away, but I think that she had backed away.
You mean Lise?
Yes.
Okay. How long did she hold your hair?
Maybe about 10 seconds, not even.
While she was holding your hair, what was Rianne doing?
She was hitting me and scratching me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. 18-year-old Sherry Powell says her former friend, 17-year-old Lise Chouinard, owes for an assault. Lise says she was trying to break up a fight between Sherry and her friend.
Okay. Now I'll hear you.
When they were fighting, I was in the car with my two friends. Rianne had been taking a little while, so I went to see where she was in the pool hall, but they had been outside. And I came in, and Sherry had Rianne by the throat against a brick wall, and my first intention was to pull her off of her. Like, this girl's way bigger than my girlfriend, so I was like, Kate, no, this is retarded. So I pulled her off there, and then that's when Greg told me, back off these, and I was like, Kate, yeah. And I stood there, and they finished their fight. And then we left.
Why did you put your hands on her?
To pull her off my girlfriend.
You have no right to do that.
Well, if you, like...
You have no right to do that.
Yeah, but she was sitting there hurting.
I don't, listen to me. A, I don't believe that you weren't there and didn't see how it started. Don't believe your cookie. Don't believe your cookie. You knew exactly what was going on because she's your friend, and you knew she was angry at her.
But I wasn't even there when it started.
Don't believe you, my dear. Don't believe you. It's just too coincidental that at a time when she seemed to be getting the upper hand, you stepped in. Just too coincidental to me.
I stepped in for 2 seconds to get her off Rianne. That's what I did.
When you got her off Rianne, did Rianne continue to assault her?
Rianne wasn't even hitting her when I pulled her off. Sherry had Rianne by the throat and had her fist out like that.
Sounds right to me. Sounds perfect to me. She started it. She hit her first. She confronted her first. She assaulted her first.
Yeah. So that's what happened. That's what happened. I'm not saying that's not what happened, but I pulled her off my friend. I walk in and she's got my friend by the throat. My immediate reaction is to do that. Like, what else would I do? Just sit there and be like, oh, you can go and hit my girlfriend?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why would I do that?
Because then you wouldn't be standing where you are. If I believed you, which I don't, because I find that somebody who can't even figure out that their shirt is supposed to meet their pants when they come to court is not going to tell me the truth.
I'm not going to tell you. Why would I stand up here and lie?
Why?
Yeah, exactly. I have no reason to sit here and lie.
Oh, yes, you do.
No, I don't. I have no reason. No. I don't even talk to her no more. This has been a year ago.
Let me explain to you why you do. Because she's suing your mother. Because your mother is responsible for you. She's suing your mother for $5,000 because you permitted, at least for a period of time, your friend, who also doesn't know how to dress when she comes to court, to assault her by holding her hair and allowing her to be hit. You did that.
But that didn't even happen.
You have a police report, please?
No, they would not release it to me.
Do you have a hospital record?
Yes, I do.
May I see it, please?
I have a picture, too.
Okay.
I have a police statement. Would you also like to see that?
Mm-hmm.
And I have an apology letter from Rianne.
Do you have a separate lawsuit against Rianne?
I haven't sued her. I do intend on suing her in higher courts. So far, she had just pleaded guilty in Canada.
When?
Assault. On October 8th this year.
Okay. Step up, please. What's your name?
Matt Duke.
You were there that evening in October, sir?
Yeah.
Tell me what you observed with regard to this young lady holding the plaintiff.
She was in the car when Rianne was starting all this stuff, and then when she came out, she didn't know what was going on. I just seen her run past and try to go and help out her friend like anybody else would. And my brother pulled her off before she could get involved, so it wouldn't be a 2-on-1 or anything like that. And in the meanwhile, I told Rianne, that's enough. No more fighting. That's when the fight stopped.
Sit down, genius. What did you plead guilty to, Rianne?
Assault into Sherry.
Were you sentenced yet?
What I have here is my 12-month conditional discharge.
Can I see it,
is what
please?
They gave me.
Can I see it, please? She wrote you a letter of apology because she was directed by the court to do it.
She wasn't directed.
No, I offered.
Who just said that to me? Which one of you two geniuses said I wasn't directed, she offered it? Who said that?
I did.
Okay. This assault happened in October of 2003, is that right?
Yes.
If your friend was truly sorry for what she had done, the letter of apology would have come not a year later, but the next week. Do you understand?
Yes.
Good. The letter of apology, which was directed by the court. It's here in the order. This is the dumbest bird. You just have to listen to this. That a court accepted as an apology letter. I didn't have to write this letter of apology. I chose to. What happened between you and me was a huge waste of my time. But I'd like you to know that you should be apologizing too because of what you did to me. I have to let it go because I've realized a lot about both of you. I know how hurt and angry you'd be if another female stabbed you in the back like that. The both of you are in my past, and I've moved on to better things. So, on my behalf, I apologize for doing what I did to you.
Touching.
Touching, and
Very
the
touching.
future of that country. Future of that
Or
country.
theirs.
Or theirs. Oh, Canada? Oh.
Can I make a note on that
Listen!
letter?
You have no right to put your hands on another person. She has no right to put her hands on another person. If your boyfriend disrespects you by fooling around, you do what's necessary to him. You can move out of the apartment, kick him out of the apartment. You can break off all contact. You can yell and scream. But as long as there is no allegation that someone held him down and forced him to submission,
No.
it's his fault.
She had a part. It takes two to have sex. Like,
she's not your boyfriend.
No, she's not.
She's not your boyfriend. She wasn't even your friend. According to you, you knew her. She owes you no allegiance. You weren't married. You weren't engaged. You had a boyfriend for a couple of months. What do you do? I mean, do you work? Do you go to school? Do you do anything?
Not right now, no.
You don't do anything?
No.
You better find something to occupy your time. Judgment for the... What?
She's also pregnant with his kid.
Oh. How
has nothing to do with
how
this,
fortunate
Sherry,
for the
so why
people
bring
of
that
Canada.
up?
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,500. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Sherry's a fat cow who shouldn't even be getting anything.
She took her frustrations out on me.
She was attacking my friend, and she's 10 times the size of my friend.
I had taken control because I knew that this girl was crazy.
I got over-tempered.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
She's mentally freaking touched in the head.
And now the next 27-year-old student, Julie Lagos, is suing nightclub owner Jack Wade for damages due to an assault. Julie claims one of the club's female bouncers punched her in the head.
Come to order, all rise. Yes, case number 317 on the calendar, the matter of Lagos versus Wade. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Mr. Wade, you own a bar.
Yes.
The plaintiff was a patron in that bar.
Yes.
You had an employee in that bar. Female employee?
Yes.
In what capacity did you employ this woman?
The woman is security.
And according to Miss Lagos, this female security guard at your bar assaulted her without provocation. Now, there is some merit to her statement because this security guard pled guilty to assault, correct?
As far as I know, yes.
Let us take that as a given. She pled guilty and then she fled the jurisdiction after sentencing. That's what it says here, right?
Yes.
Miss Lagos said she was injured and she wants to be compensated.
Correct.
When were you assaulted in Mr. Wade's bar?
On November 27th of 2003.
Tell me about it.
I was at the bar with a girlfriend. I have never been to that bar before. I went into the bar. I lost my friend. So I proceeded towards where I saw a bouncer at the exit. I asked him, what do people do when they lose their friends? He told me that I can try calling her on my cell phone, which I proceeded to do. And then afterwards, when I tried to come back in, he wouldn't let me back in. And so I was just inquiring on, well, how do I get back in? I'm lost. I've never been here before. And then out of nowhere, the security guard that came in, and she didn't know the conversation at all. And she just butted in and said, what's the problem? And I told her, I said, you know, please don't talk to me that way. You don't know what's going on. And then out of nowhere, she'd hit me on the right side of my head. I started crying. I've never been in a fight before. I asked the bouncer to get me assistance. I felt dizzy. I felt like I was going to pass out.
When she hit you, what did she hit you with?
A closed fist. The bouncer told me at that point to go home and drink it off. It happens all the time. They refused to call the owner. They refused to call any assistance for me. So I went on my cell phone. Another person who was there helped me walk to my car, and I dialed 911.
Either one of you there that evening?
Right, yes.
Were you at the door?
Yes.
Step up. Tell me your name.
Kevin Kinzis.
How long have you worked for Mr. Wade?
I'm a customer there.
You were a customer?
Right.
A regular customer?
Yes.
How did it come about that you accompanied Mr. Wade to court today?
Just came back there and asked what happened.
Came back
I came
where?
back to the establishment and asked him what happened because I saw a bunch of stuff going on at the back exit.
Well, what kind of stuff did you see going on, Mr. Kinsis?
Well, I was leaving through the other exit, and I seen her going through this exit.
Yes.
And I saw the bouncer saying, you can't come in through this exit. And it just...
And what?
This girl came by and...
Which girl?
This security guard.
Security guard came by and?
She said, shut up, you bull dyke, beep, and then, like, flicked her hair.
What? Who said what to whom, sir? You're not being clear. I want you to be clear.
The security guard.
Security guard said to her.
You cannot come in through here.
Yes.
And I heard, shut up, you bull dyke.
Who said it?
The security guard said it to her.
To her. So the security guard cursed her.
Right.
And then hit her.
Well, flicked her, not, I mean, hit her, just like flicked her hair.
And then what did you hear?
That was it, I just left.
So you didn't that really wasn't much of an incident?
No.
So what did you go find Mr. Wade for?
I just asked him what happened that night.
When did you ask him what happened that night?
Probably a week later.
Why would you even think about asking him what happened a week later, sir, if what you described to me was truthful, Mr. Kinsis, that nothing happened, somebody got their hair flicked? Why would that even stay in your mind, Mr. Kinsis?
I just asked him what happened back there, and he told me.
What did he tell you?
That some girl tried getting into the exit, and, are you a witness? And I said, yes, I saw it. What happened?
Sit down. Aren't you sorry you made a fool of yourself?
Yeah.
Sit down.
All right.
Good. Mr. Wade, Mr. Kinsis is sorry he made a fool of himself.
I think he's scared.
Now, were you hospitalized?
No, I didn't have insurance at that time.
Just listen to me. Answer my question. Were you hospitalized?
No, ma'am.
When for the first time did you seek medical assistance?
The next morning.
Do you have a report from a doctor?
I do, ma'am.
May I see it, please?
Can I add something?
Yes.
In case you can't read it, the last paragraph of this police report basically says the detective had a call because the...
May I see the police report, please?
Here's the police report, and here's the last paragraph right here.
Oh. Okay. Any medical follow-up?
Yes, ma'am.
Can I see it, please?
Anything else you got?
No, sir. I have the docket report. I don't know if you need that.
What's your last name?
Dewberry.
What are you doing here?
I was the one that discussed this with her, settling.
You work for Mr. Wade?
Yes.
Stand up, please. What did you discuss with her?
I discussed going over her medical bills with her and coming up with a settlement for the incident that had happened.
When did you first have your conversation with her?
In July of 2004.
When did Miss Mullen plead guilty?
I don't know.
When?
She pled guilty at the end of April of 2004 by the district attorney.
So what took you so long? Why did you wait until July?
That's when I was first contacted by her.
When had she contacted you, Mr. Wade?
About June.
Not before June?
No.
Even though this incident happened in November?
Right.
Is that right?
No, ma'am, it's not right.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Claims nightclub owner Jack Wade owes for damages from an assault. Julie claims she was punched in the head by a female bouncer.
Now, when did you first
I first contacted him in December. He said that he was willing to work with me, but he was not going to settle with me for anything until he knew whether or not Lisa pled guilty by the district attorney.
That sounds right. This lady didn't wait, sir, until June. She went to the doctor right away, and she contacted you right away.
That's not true. She called me in June. I didn't know that anything was going on with her. She called me and she told me she'd been there. And
Let me tell you something, sir.
Yes, sir. Ma'am.
You see this gentleman over here? He came and testified a moment ago at your request. He said that he spoke to you a week after the incident, which would have been in December.
Yes.
And you asked him if he could be a witness.
No, I didn't ask him if he would be a
He
witness.
volunteered to be a witness.
No, he coming to me. No.
Right?
Right.
Right. That's what he says, Mr. Wade. Volunteered to be a witness. Now, why would you need a witness if the plaintiff did not contact you from November until June?
He came to me in December and he said, I was out there that night and heard this commotion, a bunch of yelling. And I said, oh, I said, did you see it? And he said, yeah. I said, what happened? He didn't know why she was yelling and all, just what he saw.
Mr. Wade, You're pulling my leg, sir.
No, I'm not pulling your leg.
Yeah, you are, sir. You're pulling my leg.
No, I'm not.
Because this lady did not wait after she was assaulted in your bar 7 months before she contacted you to be compensated for the assault. Let's get over that, because it doesn't make sense. And if it doesn't make sense, Mr. Wade, it's not true.
No.
Now,
I have a document here in July that she faxed us stating the damage done to her in July on her own father's fax machine.
Just 1 second. I'm not saying she didn't fax you that in July. I'm not saying she didn't contact you in June. I'm saying it was not the first time she contacted you. The first time she contacted you was prior to June. Now, when was your settlement negotiation with her?
I started discussing them with her in July.
What did you offer her?
I didn't offer anything. I offered to go over the medical bills with her.
Yes.
And come to some sort of settlement. She was first seeking $10,000.
Yes.
We met again, and we came down to a $5,000 settlement based on the fact that these bills were true.
Okay, well, did you read the report from the detective?
No, I didn't
The
receive
report from the
that.
detective indicates that the detective had conversations with a treating physician, whose report I do have here, who indicates that she was in fact injured, that the tenderness in her head was consistent with that injury, that in the opinion of the doctor it was a result of being hit in the head. Okay? Now, whether she had medical bills or not, even if she had no medical bills, you're still responsible. You're liable. You hired somebody to work in your establishment who you shouldn't have hired. I don't know what kind of background investigation you did, but certainly you're responsible. If somebody walks into your bar and a member of your staff assaults them, you're liable. You're liable for her pain and suffering. You're liable for her humiliation. You're liable if she gets dizzy, if she has flashbacks, if she has nightmares. Don't you get that, Mr. Wade?
I understand that. That's why we asked Kim to settle with her to see what the amount would be.
Well, then let me ask you this question, sir. What was the amount that you ultimately offered her?
They talked a discussion about $5,000. And she was
So what are
ready.
you doing here? If you offered her $5,000 and that's the maximum that this court can award, why are you here?
When Kim went to settle with her, we said about 7 to 10 days that we'd check the bills and get back to her. Now, on the 9th day, she called Kim up, yelling and screaming at her, and said if we don't have the money by 5 o'clock that day, the deal's off.
Let me ask you a question. If you said you understood what I just said to you, that whether she had medical bills or not, she was assaulted in your bar by one of your employees, and you are responsible. If she had a headache for 3 days, if she had dizziness, if she had tenderness in her head, which is consistent with the medical reports that are here from the detectives, you're responsible. How long did it take you from July to get back to her?
It was probably August when I was told her we'd probably, if he agreed to it, we'd settle in 7 to 10 days. On the 9th day, she called me and told me I better effing figure out a way to get her money tonight or I'd be sorry. Then she called me back again.
So just a minute. So you told her you were going to settle with her in 7 to 10 days. On the 7th day, you didn't settle with her. Get her a check. On the 8th day, you didn't settle with her. On the 9th day, you didn't call her. She called you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, can I say something?
Sure.
The 7th and 8th day was on a Saturday and Sunday.
Then she shouldn't have said to her 7 to 10 days. She should have said 10 to 14 days.
I didn't do that.
You have a responsibility, Mr. Wade, that when you hire a security guard in your place of business, that you've done an appropriate background check. Now, I'm not going to ask you what kind of background check you did on this woman, because I don't think you did one. Because anybody who is convicted of assault and then takes off, this is not their first offense. This is not the first time that they have been involved in the law. That's your responsibility. And if because of your dereliction and your responsibility to make sure that not only are your doors covered, that people don't sneak in, but that your patrons are safe. Safe. According to the police, this lady was not intoxicated. She was not sloppy. What are you laughing at? Are you inappropriate or what?
She said she filed a report the next day. I just heard her say that.
On 11/27, date of the incident, I was dispatched. I officer was dispatched to South Manchester. Is that where you are, sir?
Yes.
All right. She was not intoxicated. That's the detectives. Why do you think this is funny?
I'm not laughing at you.
Good. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I'm very excited that justice was served.
I don't want to get into that.
Words can't even say. I've tried and tried again, and he played me, and now he's the one that got played.
I'd have nothing to say.
He was slick and just didn't want to deal with Julie.
I don't want to talk about that.
On the last day, he told me, see, try and take me to court, and I took him to court, and I prevailed.
I'm very upset right now.
Interior designer Margot McDougall is suing her ex-fiancé, financial consultant Michael Kelly, for the cost to decorate his home. Michael is countersuing, claiming Margot is withholding furniture.
Your Honor, it's case number 309 on the calendar in the matter of McDougall versus Kelly. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Ms. McDougall, you are an interior designer.
Yes, ma'am.
According to your complaint, you met the defendant in a rather unlikely place, at a gas station or something like that. You struck up a conversation. Always a bad idea. And according to what I read, he took you for well over $10,000. He engaged you to decorate a house for him. You did. You furnished the house for him. He never paid you and took off. In addition to that, he stole some gift certificates that you had. That case is not really before me because according to what I read, Mr. Kelly, did you plead guilty to that theft?
I did, Your Honor.
You did. Mr. Kelly says that you actually owe him money because he paid you for the furniture and he never got it and just decided to chalk it up to a bad experience and moved on. Is that right, sir?
Pretty
close. But he is counterclaiming.
Pretty close.
Mr. Kelly, you met Miss McDougall when, sir?
August 15, 2002, at a gas station at about 3 in the morning.
Now, when did you engage her services to decorate your home?
Shortly after that, we started a personal relationship. I learned she was an interior designer. So I decided to hire her because I had a beachfront condo that needed furnished that was going to be sold.
Okay. What kind of work were you doing in August of 2002, Mr. Kelly?
I was a financial consultant, Your Honor.
For whom?
Kelly Consulting, 6 years.
For yourself?
My dad opened the company.
Now, you needed furniture. Did you go with Miss McDougall to pick out the furniture?
No, Your Honor.
She picked it out herself?
Yes, Your Honor.
And she showed you photographs?
Yes,
you
she did.
gave her carte blanche?
Pretty much, Your Honor.
Pretty much what? I gave you 2 questions. You can't have the yes, pretty much.
I gave
her
her carte blanche. She showed me photos of the items that she was going to custom order for my beachfront home. She came over and did a consulting of the beachfront property on September 6th. She looked over the home, charged me roughly $6,000 and change. I paid her in full.
Okay, so she charged you $6,000.
$6,800. I have the exact amount.
And what was the name of her decorating firm?
Well, Your Honor, she called it.
I don't care what she called it. What did she tell you? Because she made out your check.
Margaret McDougall Interior Design.
Fine.
I personally paid her, not to her company, because she was unemployed.
Just a second. So when you say you personally paid her, what does that mean?
Western Union or money.
Show me.
Sure.
What is this, sir?
That's a copy of the Western Union payments to Miss McDougall.
Show me your receipts from Western Union.
Your Honor, here's also my copy of Western Union. These are the printouts they give you at AmSouth when you pick up a Western Union. I sent her the money, she picked it up. There's a copy of her transactions, there's a copy of my transactions over the course of time.
I don't buy it. You want to know why, sir?
Why, Your Honor?
Because you're a financial consultant. I've been alive a very long time. When I pay a decorator, I pay a decorator by check. You get an invoice from a designer. The invoice is number 634. You say invoice number 634, $6,000. You pay him by check. You have a copy of the check. Financial advisors don't deal in money orders. People who don't have checking accounts deal in money orders. And people, listen to me, sir. I don't buy it. Got it? Good. So, do you have a canceled check that you gave to Miss McDougall for any of this furniture?
I have something better than that, Your Honor.
Yes.
I have the results of a polygraph test.
I'm not interested in your polygraph test, or take it and throw it in the garbage. Polygraph tests are inadmissible in courts. Now, you claim that you purchased this furniture for him. You laid out the money.
Yeah.
You had the furniture delivered to him.
No, actually, he picked it up.
Where did he pick it up?
At my place of business.
show me proof that you ordered furniture for him, and show me proof by way of a receipt signed by him that he picked it up.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. That's all I want to see.
No problem.
Good. And while we're at it, Mr. Kelly, while she's looking for those things, I want you to tell me about stealing over $5,000 worth of gift certificates. Gift certificates that belonged to Miss McDougal. So I'm asking you where you stole them from.
My contention was I didn't steal them, Your Honor.
Did you tell the judge you stole them?
No, Your Honor, I pled out in the interest.
Pled out, sir, means you pled guilty.
Right.
You weren't lying to the judge when you pled guilty, were you?
It was in my best interest.
That doesn't answer my question, Slick.
Well, Your Honor, there's such a thing called a no contest plea. So in best interest, I pled no contest. If I took it to jury trial, I very easily could have got a lot of time. I took a polygraph, but nobody wanted to see the polygraph.
You're absolutely, nobody wants to see your polygraph.
Administered by a doctor, court recognized. Doesn't matter.
Court doesn't recognize polygraph experts, sir.
I thought they did in civil matters. I didn't know.
No, they don't.
Okay. It doesn't hold any weight with you, Your Honor?
It doesn't hold any weight, and your story doesn't hold any weight, Mr. Kelly.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Go McDougal says ex-fiancé Michael Kelly owes for her services as an interior designer. Margot also says Michael stole over $5,000 in gift certificates from her purse.
When was the last time you were incarcerated?
1998.
For the record, you want to tell me for what?
Violation of probation.
What was your original crime?
Grand theft.
Grand theft. Grand theft of what, sir?
A value of...
is not an answer. What did you steal?
I'm not sure, Your Honor. It was so long ago. 7 years ago? 8 years ago? It was monetary, though, money.
What kind of sentence did you receive when you pled guilty to stealing her gift certificates, sir, out of her pocketbook?
Your Honor, I received a 18 months probation, early termination upon a determined amount of restitution.
And how much restitution did you make, Mr. Kelly?
I agreed to $7,200 and change.
Did you make that restitution?
I have a period of time to do it, Your Honor.
And if you don't make that restitution within the period of time, you go to jail. Is that correct?
For 18 months.
18 months. Sounds perfect to me. And how much longer do you have, sir, before you have to make this restitution?
I have about another 15 months to go, Your Honor.
Good. Hope you're working. Are you telling me that he picked up a sofa?
Actually, it was some modular kind of a sofa. It was in 3 pieces.
Your Honor, you have the purchase orders in front of you. You might find something interesting that they're numbered 755, 756, and then they go to 758. There's not a 757. I have 757. I have the original purchase orders.
Can I see it, please?
Certainly. Yeah, you'll find something interesting in that. On 757, there's an item there that weighs 500 pounds. Now, you might take a good look at me, Your Honor, but I don't believe me and Miss McDougal can pick up a 500-pound entertainment center.
I didn't claim that you got it, either.
I signed it, Your Honor, the same day as the other purchase orders. You'll see where she thinks that recognizes me picking up the items.
What I want to see from you are the days that he picked up the merchandise, where he signed for the merchandise. When you pick up merchandise, somebody signs for it.
The bottom of those, they're actually on the yellow copies. That's all that I had him sign for. And
just a second. Would you ask her to show me what she's talking about? He's got these signs, and some of them are signed 2009, 17, 2002. They're all signed same date.
Right.
And that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the date he picked them up.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, that's the only time that I have him sign for him because...
Listen, you made a mistake.
He represented himself as an attorney, Your Honor. He represented that he was all these things.
Are you a business person?
Well, I was going to school and I was opening a business with a partner all at the same time. And I was really busy.
You got conned.
I know that.
You got conned. Hopefully you can get your $7,000 back. Because I don't think Mr. Kelly wants to go back to jail, do you?
No, Your Honor, but I'd like my consulting fees back from her.
I don't believe that you paid it, sir. I think you're a con artist. I think you're a thief and a con artist. I don't know what her story is, maybe just stupidity. But I don't believe a word that comes out of your mouth. Neither does Officer Byrd. Anyway, your counterclaim is dismissed. Mr. McDougal, unless you have a receipt that he signed when he picked up this stuff at the warehouse, you have no claim against him.
He picked it up and received it on the 17th.
Your Honor, if you believe
Just a
that.
second.
He picked it up right here.
If you believe that, Your Honor, on the 24th we went and got a marriage license.
Oh,
He picked it up right here.
Do me a favor. Show him
Picked
the door.
up M.
Goodbye.
Kelly,
Goodbye.
and he signed it.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I'm really glad that Judge Judy showed that Mr. Kelly was actually a real con artist.
I think Judge Judy was a little rough on me. She didn't look at the polygraph exam.
He conned me for those things, and he conned me for more than that.
We had a marriage license, and the reason we broke it off is because she lied about her age. She was much older than she presented herself as.
Couldn't find him until a year and a half later, where he had done the same thing to another woman, met her at a grocery store with him. That's where I saw him.
Well, the allegations are unfounded. I might be smooth, that'd be the word. But don't hate the player, hate the game.
Contractor David Oravec is suing his ex-wife, 26-year-old Maria Oravec, for falsely accusing him of abusing their children. David says Maria is currently engaged to his brother, Daniel.
Yeah, this is case number 266 on the calendar in the matter of Oravec versus Oravec. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Have a seat, sir.
Mr. Oravec, the defendant is your former wife.
Yes, ma'am.
How long were you married?
Almost 7 years.
And you have 2 children.
Yes, we do.
Recently divorced, and you, after a custody trial, you obtained custody of the 2 children. How old are they?
5 and 7 year, ma'am.
Your lawsuit claims, Mr. Oravec, that your wife has embarked upon a campaign to file allegations alleging domestic violence, alleging abuse of the children, etc., causing you to spend a substantial amount of money for attorneys. All of those allegations were ultimately dismissed, proven unfounded, and you want your former wife to compensate you.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Oravec says that everything she said was true, and she is a good mother, and she has an absolute responsibility to report any instances of abuse of her children and abuse of herself. I gather from your complaint that this situation is exacerbated by the fact that your former wife is now either living with or engaged to be married to your brother. That's you. Is that right?
Yes.
Are you twins?
No.
No. How far apart are you?
2
in
years.
age? And I assume you don't speak.
No.
For how long?
Since the affair was found in my house.
And when was that?
Back in February last year.
And when were you divorced?
The divorce was entered in June 2nd, 2003.
And when were you ultimately awarded custody of the children?
Custody was done June 23rd. It was filed of 2004.
Between June of 2003 and June of 2004, with whom were the children living?
They were living with her primary.
There was a custody trial?
No, ma'am. There was a settlement.
And what did you agree to in the settlement, Ms. Oravec?
I agreed to maintain joint custody with David, as well as switching primary residency over to him on information that the law guardian had given me, stating that he was not allowed to make any changes regarding the children without first clarifying it with me.
Don't qualify what you're saying to me. You agreed that the children's primary custodian would be their father.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Can I say something? Right? The reason that we went to court is because there's 8 circumstances which warrant a change of custody of emotional abuse towards the children, and we agreed upon this because she agreed upon it because she didn't want to go to trial.
I assume, Mr. Oravec, that the recommendation of the children's attorney
Yes.
was that the children be in your primary physical
Yes, they were,
custody.
Your Honor.
And that would have been dispositive, in all probability, at a hearing. Otherwise, was there any other reason that you gave up physical custody of the children?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because you had had physical custody of the children for a year.
I was too afraid of the punishment I might get if I hadn't given up custody of them.
That, madam, is baloney.
You may think so, ma'am, but it's not.
Baloney. Okay. Let's get to the first allegation, sir, that caused you to retain an attorney.
That was back in June 18th. She filed a violation.
You have to give me a year.
June 18, 2003. Sorry, ma'am. She filed with CPS, and then she filed the order of protection.
Okay. Do you have those reports?
Yes, I have everything. Here's the order of protection, dismissed and everything, and here's the unfounded reports from CPS.
Could I see?
Here's the amended temporary order of protection I had too also.
Just a second. You said it was in June of 2003. I have a letter here dated September of 2003, which indicates from Child Protective Services that you are the subject of a report of suspected child abuse. And I assume that it was you who made that report.
No, ma'am.
Who was it?
It was the children's pediatrician.
When did you take the children to the pediatrician and why?
I took the children to the pediatrician on June 16th of 2003 because they had come home from a weekend with their father covered in mosquito bites, my daughter particularly, and several bruises, one of which was so large on her leg that it looked like the size of the fist, and that's what the doctor had recorded.
Mosquito bites?
22 to be exact.
Oh, okay.
As well as sunburn to the point where their skin was peeling.
Now this is interesting. Just a second. September 11th, 2003 is when they notify you that there was a report. But then I have a letter dated August 30th, 2003, which indicates that they've done an investigation and they find that there is no credible evidence was found that the children were abused or maltreated, and therefore the report has been determined unfounded. How many reports were filed?
2 altogether. One was done back in February. Before that.
Well, that's what I want to know. There was
yeah,
one
I
in
may have had the paperwork. Sorry.
Because you can't have an unfounded letter that's dated before the report. So there was a prior report in February. Who filed the prior report?
That was done through CPS automatically because we were both arrested at our household for a domestic. She was charged with 3 charges, and I was charged with protecting myself.
What's next?
Well, since then, Your Honor, she's engaged in another filing false petitions against me now, ever since I've been awarded custody of the children. And she has done nothing but, in that last year, harassed me by going to child support and saying I'm not paying child support, which I have court documents saying that I was not willfully trying to disobey a court order.
What was the child support order?
First it was $90 a week, then I agreed to pay $100, and then I agreed to pay $150, and then because we kept going back and forth to court, she wouldn't stop filing. So they said it was not willful, and then child support, and then I was...
Just a minute. When there were orders in effect for $90, $100, and $150 a week, did you make regular payments pursuant to those orders?
I was. I constantly keep paying.
It's not true, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
He says he wasn't in willful violation of the support order because he told the court that he didn't have a job. He owns his own business.
Just a second. Did you ever tell the court that you couldn't pay this order because
no, I did
you
not,
were
ma'am.
not working?
No, I did not.
Transcripts.
That was never an issue, like not paying child support.
He said he wasn't working at the time. He even had his father in court to verify that he wasn't working.
That sounds like a hard story for her to make up, sir. Listen to me.
I'm listening.
He also...
Shh. Very easy to verify. Did you ever have your father in court and testify in court that you were either unemployed or didn't receive any income? Did you or did you not? The answer is either yes or no. It's very easy for me to pick up a phone and find out.
No.
Okay, go ahead.
He, at that time, had obtained a new boat, a new camper, various new home improvements to his house, and the judge asked him where did these belongings come from. He claimed that they were his brothers, his little brothers, that he wasn't
Somebody
working.
Else. So he was playing around with child support.
Right, that he wasn't working, and he was $2,300 in arrears at that point. At this point...
Do you have any documentation?
I didn't bring it. I didn't think it'd be brought up here.
At the time that you took him to court, he was $2,300 in arrears. I believe her.
He is currently $700 in arrears.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Oravec says his ex-wife, Maria Oravec, owes for legal fees and harassment. David claims Maria has been filing false reports with Child Protective Services.
Now, how much do you pay?
We don't pay anything.
How much? Listen to me. How much do you pay in child? Not we. How much do you pay in child support?
Neither one of us pay child support to each other.
You don't. He doesn't have to pay child support to you. He is the primary physical custodian of the children. You're supposed to pay child support to him.
He's never requested it.
Oh, Mrs. Oravec, he doesn't have to request it. You're supposed to pay it. You're supposed to give him money because he's taking care of the children. So stop complaining and fetching to me that he's $700 behind in child support. Do you work?
No, ma'am.
Get a job!
I have a job. I have 2 children.
You are not the children's primary physical caretaker.
But
get a job and
daily.
support them. That's your job. So stop fetching to me that he's behind in child support. You have as much of an obligation to pay for the children when they're in his custody as he had to pay for the children when they were in your custody.
He didn't pay when they were in my custody.
And you don't pay a dime when they're in his custody.
I purchase everything for them outright.
I've heard that. Listen to me. You know how many times I've heard that from fathers who aren't primary physical custodians? I buy diapers, and I buy milk, and I buy things for them, and I take them to the movies. That's not support. Get a job and support them. Now, when was the next order of protection that was filed, sir?
There was no more after that.
So what are you complaining about?
Because she constantly keeps bringing me back and forth to court. Now, even after I was awarded custody of children, she filed another petition against me to try and get modification of the custody of the children again.
Let me see it.
I mean, it's a nonstop battle of harassment and attorney fees that I got to keep paying.
Well, what is this?
So now here's another petition.
Yes,
like I said, with that last false petition or filed, there was a court order ordering us that we cannot go to the court for relief for 18 months unless we've attended Catholic charities. We did not attend Catholic charities, so she filed that petition in order. That was dismissed because of that.
Oh, so this was dismissed?
Yes, it was because she went against a court order.
Your Honor,
and they
he
told her.
keeps dodging Catholic Charities mediation program. He refuses to schedule. He refuses to pin down a date. He refuses to pay the $30 that it costs to go through mediation. He won't pin anything down just so he can avoid losing the kids. He knows he stands a substantial chance of losing these children now.
I have no idea why you gave them up in the first place.
Because I was stupid. Very, very stupid and scared.
Well, then, you know, if you were very, very stupid, you can't... Put your hand down.
Oh, sorry.
If you were very, very stupid, you can't inflict your stupidity on the children. Right
No,
now,
I
the
can't.
children are living with their father. And
They're living with both of us, ma'am. They go back and forth each week.
You mean 1 week they live with you and 1 week they live with him?
A 5- and 7-year-old have to get carted around every other week. It's not good for them.
That's what you agreed to. Listen, if that's what you agree to, and if you don't believe it's good for them, then they should stay with their father.
He's not good for them, ma'am.
Listen, if you're their mother, and you voluntarily settled this matter, and I'm not going into it because to me, you had custody for a year. There was something that happened that convinced you that it would not be in your best interest to proceed to a trial in this case, a trial that you would clearly lose, because otherwise, unless you suffered a substantial breakdown mentally, you would not concede custody to the father who did not have custody. So there was something that you did or something that the court could have determined, and I'm not sure what it was.
I have it.
Well, you have a report?
Yes, I do. I have the report right here.
He
Let me see it.
alleges abuse, Your Honor, but they're
No.
just
Let me see it.
allegations, and it's
This one right here.
nonsense.
The mother has engaged in a course of conduct designed to alienate the children from their father, and it goes on to list 6 instances where she has done that. The family court judge, in modifying the order of custody, clearly found that there was a change in circumstances sufficient to change the judgment of divorce and to modify the judgment of divorce, and ordered as follows. On consent of the parties, the mother and father shall continue joint custody of the minor children, with the children to reside with the father. That's what you consented to. And the judge found that there was a basis for that. Listen to me. You haven't established, to my satisfaction, anything as egregious as to require me to direct her to pay you for filing false charges against you. But I do suggest, sir, that you have the right to seek financial support from your former wife. She has an obligation to support these children just as you did when they were living with her. And I suggest that if you want to pursue that, you should go to Catholic Charities, proceed with whatever mediation there is in Catholic Charities, and then file a petition seeking child support, unless you are an independently wealthy person. Are you?
No, I'm not, ma'am.
Good.
According
Then
to
do it.
him,
That's
he
all.
is.
Out.
Thank you, ma'am.
Where's the $12,000?
A very brilliant woman. I'm just glad that she sees the truth like everybody else has.
Once again, David has convinced someone that he's Mr. Charming, and he's not.
She's pregnant with a child that's not even his now. And my concern is how she can bring another child into this world when she can't even take care of the 2 children she has right now.
That's why Daniel and I are involved. He got me out of an abusive relationship. He saw his brother beating me up. His own brother can't stand him.
Well, they're sick. There's nothing else to say.
We're going to have a nice little family once we can get someone else out of our lives and have him move on.
You know, the devil works in mysterious ways. Unfortunately, it's influenced them. Nothing I can do about it.
No, I just figure it this way. I married a boob and ended up with the prize.
Case 2203, McAlley versus Waynesworth. All parties, please step forward.
Susan McKaylee is suing her neighbor, Ed Wadsworth, for towing fees and car damage.
You know the defendant through a friend of yours.
I do.
She is a significant other partner.
Right now they're roommate status, but...
Roommates.
Correct.
Of a friend of yours.
Correct.
Some time ago, you found a dog or rescued a dog and gave it to your friend and the defendant.
They had found the dog and rescued it.
Okay, so they found the dog.
Yes.
What kind of dog?
Kind of a, you could imagine him pulling a sled. I have a picture of him.
I'd like to take a look.
All right.
No.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
You can hand that to her.
Oh, he's beautiful.
Oh, he's wonderful.
He's beautiful. And tell me, you live with somebody as a roommate?
Yeah, she's my girlfriend, actually.
Girlfriend. Okay. And that's the girlfriend who's also your friend?
Yes. Very close.
How long have you been together?
Like 12 years.
What?
I know. But I've been there and done that.
You were afraid to even say that. 12 minutes, 12 hours, 12 days, 12 years. She's going to get me for that one. Okay. Is this the first dog that you had together?
We had a golden retriever that lived to be 16 years old and died this last summer. And then a friend of mine, he was driving to work one day and he saw what eventually became Snowy running around. So he rescued him.
When was this?
6-7 months at least.
6-7 months ago?
Yes. Beautiful animal. Just wonderful animal.
I see he's your screensaver.
Oh, yeah, I know it. In the morning, we'd let him out to do his business because we live in 20.
No, we're not there yet,
sorry.
sir. There was an incident that occurred when the dog got loose and you couldn't find him. How long had you had him before he got loose?
6 to 7 months.
Well, this is her complaint.
Yes.
She said it was January 2023 and you got him in December of 2022. You have a dog of your own.
It's my roommate's dog, and they're the same age.
Okay. And do they play together?
Yes, we use them, we socialize them.
May
together.
I see the photograph?
Yeah. Same age. And wanted to see how they socialized together, and they did great. They became great buddies.
Oh. They're wonderful together. Anyway, something happened in January, and you called the plaintiff and told her that Snowy had gotten out and he was missing and he didn't come back. Was he out overnight or just part of the... He was out overnight. Did you call her in the morning?
No, it was later in the afternoon. It was getting towards...
Okay, so he had been gone one whole night?
Yes.
And in the morning and afternoon of the next day?
Yes.
The McKaylee claims her neighbor, Ed Wadsworth, owes for towing fees and vehicle damage.
Okay. Had you been looking for him during that period?
I drove for hours.
Okay. And then you called her and asked for her help?
Yes.
I assume you asked for her help and told her to bring her dog, or this dog, because they were friends?
Yes.
Okay. He called you and said?
Well, I believe it was his girlfriend, my friend, our mutual friend, that asked to...
Just a second. So it wasn't the defendant who asked you. It was your girlfriend. But when you met, was your girlfriend there?
No, she was not.
Just he was there?
Correct.
Okay. And where did you meet?
It was outside his property.
Where was your girlfriend?
She was in the house. She's got some physical disabilities, and it's a struggle to get out in the snow for her.
Okay. So just the two of you, and each of you has a truck?
Correct. I was also with my roommate. She came as well because the dog is actually hers.
Okay.
So.
And I had the truck.
And you have?
I have a Honda Element, an old Honda Element.
Okay. So this is the case very briefly. I don't have to get into any more facts with you. The facts are relatively simple. Your dog got lost. Your girlfriend called her girlfriend and said, could you help find Snowy? Bring your dog with you because, you know, maybe that will be helpful in finding him. He's been out a day and a night, and you volunteered to go.
Yes.
And you went, and your car got stuck in the mud.
Correct.
And was damaged.
Correct.
And you think he's responsible, and you want him to pay for that?
Yes. Well, there's a little bit more to it.
You tell me why he's responsible.
Well, this is a case of no good deeds go unpunished. The thing is that we asked him to come help tow the vehicle out. He said, sure. He also got stuck in that process. And then when I called the tow truck came, pulled him out, and then he just took off. No thank yous, no covering his expenses, and just left.
Oh, covering what expenses?
Covering the expense of the tow, and there was some damage to my...
Forget the damage to your car.
Okay.
He didn't even ask you to go. His girlfriend asked you to go.
Okay, well,
He didn't even ask you, even if he had. Your car got stuck. He wasn't driving your car, was he, when it got stuck?
No.
Okay, you were driving your car when it got stuck.
Correct.
Right. And he also got stuck.
Yes.
Okay, so legally there's no liability for him to pay for the damage to your car if your car was in fact damaged. I can't even think of a scenario where your girlfriend and his girlfriend would have been responsible. Your car got stuck in the snow. You're right, no good deed goes unpunished. It ended up costing you some money. But we're going to talk about the towing. Could I see the towing bill?
Yes.
Thank you. Say what? Okay. So, Mr. Wadsworth, this is my question to you, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
I read the complaint, I read the answer. Your truck got stuck in the mud as well.
That's correct. I asked her, I said, how's the ground? And she said it was frozen. But where she wasn't frozen. I pulled like crazy.
And who called the tow truck?
I did.
Were you able to extricate yourself without the tow truck?
No.
No. The tow truck had to tow you out as well as the plaintiff.
That's correct. But
okay, sir. So there's a tow truck bill for $330. Why shouldn't you be responsible for half of that?
Okay, well, the tow truck driver...
Don't tell me what the tow truck driver told you, sir.
Anyway.
Not anyway.
So
I want you to tell me, not a so. The tow truck came and towed both of you out of the mud.
That's right.
Now, there's a bill here for $330 that you say you paid in full.
Yes.
And I'm asking you why you shouldn't be responsible for half of that tow truck bill, not her car damage. You're not responsible for her car damage. But you tell me why you're not responsible for half the tow truck bill.
The tow truck couldn't get to her through me because it was such a mess. He had a long cable, and that's eventually how he pulled her out.
How did you get out?
He pulled me a little bit.
Because you couldn't get out yourself.
And then I drove the rest of the way.
You know the 3 most difficult words for a man to say?
Well, besides, I'm sorry.
How about, oh, it was my fault? Or how about, yes, I'm responsible? Or, yeah,
well,
I'm sorry.
We had offered to use our tow service, which wouldn't have cost anything.
Did you call your tow service?
We called our
And just a second. You called your insurance.
But
don't
had already
speak.
Called this other company.
Don't speak. I already explained to you why he's not responsible to the damage to your car. But you owe her $165. That's half the tow. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you very much.
This court is adjourned.
Oh, you found the dog. You found the dog. I understand that you didn't find him in time he was injured, but he's home with you now?
He's home now.
Good.
Yes. I guess it was a fair judgment.
To me, it was the principle of, rewarding favors and being grateful for help.
The tires spun with 4-wheel drive, and then I got stuck.
In the end, the dog was found. He's safe. He's happy, and I'm grateful for that.
The judgment was okay?
I would do it again.
I liked the plaintiff's initial statement that no good deed goes unpunished. And this was a pretty easy case to split down the middle. Obviously, if you have a tow bill for 2 cars, one of them's yours, one of them's hers, split it, that's what you owe.
Easy.
So that was easy. But yeah, the rest of it is no good deed goes unpunished. I like it.
Yeah. And she was right. But I thought he was adorable when I said, how long have you been together? And he knew he was going to get it. And very quietly he said,
one of those.
12 years.
Well, 2 beautiful dogs and seems like a nice life, a little bit of property, maybe get a fence.
Well, he had a fence because sadly, I read the complaint and I know the dog is back home, but the dog got stuck on the fence and they had to amputate a leg.
Yeah, the chain, the small squared fence.
Right, I saw that and it was sad, but otherwise the dog is fine, healthy.
Hi, xin chào các bạn. Chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay chúng ta cùng tô màu bức tranh một chú nhện. Mình sẽ lấy màu tím tô vào vân ở trên thân. Màu đen. Đúng không? Vậy là chúng ta đã hoàn thành xong bức tranh Một chú nhện. Và đây là thành quả ngày hôm nay. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn ở những video tiếp theo. Hi, chào các bạn. Chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay chúng ta cùng tô màu bức tranh Chim đại bàng đang cho con ăn nha. Mình sẽ lấy màu đen tô vào lông của chú chim con. Mình sẽ tô màu đen vào chi mẹ. Con dâu màu xanh. Không, mình sẽ tô màu này. Vậy là chúng ta đã hoàn thành xong bức tranh chim mẹ đang bón cho chim con ăn. Và đây là thành quả ngày hôm nay. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn ở những video sau. Hi, xin chào các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay chúng ta cùng tô màu bức tranh một chú robot. Mình sẽ lấy màu đỏ soi. sĩ Tô và bụng. Xanh đậm vào đây. Vậy là chúng ta đã hoàn thành xong bức tranh một chú robot. Và đây là thành quả ngày hôm nay. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn ở những video tiếp theo. Hi, xin chào các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay chúng ta cùng tàu nón bức tranh một người đang cưỡi ngựa. Màu đen và bừng. Cửa ai? Mình sẽ lấy màu đậm son. Tôi cho áo à? Đó. Ra. Ôi xuống đi. là chúng ta đã hoàn thành xong bức tranh hình ảnh một người đang cưỡi ngựa. Và đây là thành quả ngày hôm nay. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn ở những video sau. Hi, xin chào các bạn. Hôm nay chúng ta hãy cùng tô màu bức tranh một chú ngựa nhé. Mình sẽ lấy màu đen tô vào lông. Màu xám mình sẽ tô vào dây cung. Màu xanh là cây. Vậy là chúng ta đã hoàn thành xong bức tranh một chú ngựa. Và đây là thành quả ngày hôm nay. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn ở những video sau. Hi, xin chào các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay chúng ta cùng tô màu bức tranh một người đang cưỡi ngựa. Mình sẽ lấy màu xanh này tô vào Mình sẽ tô lông. Lấy màu xanh đậm này tô vào quần. Vậy là chúng ta đã hoàn thành xong bức tranh một người đang cưỡi ngựa. Và đây là thành quả ngày hôm nay. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn ở những video sau. Hi, xin chào các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay chúng ta cùng tô màu bức tranh mặt của một chú ngựa. Mình sẽ lấy màu đen tô vào lông trên đầu.
Sao chỗ này là nhiều bông, chỗ này là ít bông?
Cái đầu. Oh no, tôi và trốn ngược. Vậy là chúng ta đã hoàn thành xong bức tranh hình ảnh một chú ngựa và đây là thành quả ngày hôm nay. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn ở những video sau. Hi, xin chào các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay chúng ta cùng tô màu bức tranh một người đang cưỡi ngựa. Mình sẽ lấy màu xanh để tô vào thân và quần áo. Màu nâu vào quần. Bờm chú ngựa màu đen. Tô màu đen vào đuôi. Vậy là chúng ta đã hoàn thành xong bức tranh một người đang cưỡi ngựa. Và đây là thành quả ngày hôm nay. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn ở những video sau. Hi, xin chào các bạn. Chào mừng các bạn đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay chúng ta cùng tô màu bức tranh một chú lính cứu hỏa đang cầm cái búa. Mình sẽ lấy màu xám. Tô với cái búa màu xám nhé. Bóng với nam phụ cũng đẹp trai cực.
Đâu?
Từ từ.
Bị làm sao đây?
Mày không xem mày cứ hỏi.
Năm chính đây à?
Ừ. Ấy, nó phụ ấy.
Sao lại triệu hồi quái vật dậy làm gì?
Mày không xem mày cứ hỏi. Mày phải xem nhưng mày biết được mày hỏi tao và giải thích nào. Rõ ràng. Sao thằng này bây giờ xấu thế này? Vậy là chúng ta đã hoàn thành xong bức tranh một chú lính cứu hỏa. Và đây là thành quả ngày hôm nay. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn ở những video sau. Hi, xin chào các bạn. Chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay chúng ta cùng tô màu bức tranh một chú ngựa. Mình sẽ lấy màu đen tô vào bờ. Mình sẽ lấy màu da tô vào đây. Vậy là chúng ta đã hoàn thành xong bức tranh một chú ngựa và đây là thành quả ngày hôm nay. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn ở những video sau. Hi, xin chào các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay chúng ta cùng tô màu bức tranh một chú lính cứu hỏa. Mình sẽ lấy màu xám tô vào đây luôn. Màu đỏ vào áo.
Dạ. Con đã làm.
Vậy là chúng ta đã hoàn thành xong bức tranh một chú lính cứu hỏa. Và đây là thành quả ngày hôm nay. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn ở những video sau. Hi, chào các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay chúng ta cùng tô màu bức tranh một chú chó đúng. Mình sẽ lấy màu đen tô vào đúng. Màu xanh và mây. Vậy là chúng ta đã hoàn thành xong hình ảnh một chú chó đốm. Và đây là thành quả ngày hôm nay. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn ở những video sau. Hi, xin chào các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay chúng ta cùng tô màu bức tranh một chú khỉ đang cầm một quả cam. Mình sẽ lấy màu cam tô vào quả cam. thọ và lưỡi của chú khỉ. Màu xanh và lá. Lông chú khỉ mình sẽ tô màu nâu.
Cốc kia của thầy chụp hôm qua kìa. Sáng nhà phải bật thêm không quay.
Vậy là chúng ta đã hoàn thành xong bức tranh một chú khỉ đang cầm một quả cam. Và đây là thành quả ngày hôm nay. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn ở những video sau.